in a sense. It's the same thing as maybe towering up your opponent. Because as long as your opponent can retreat to his base and be in relative safety, you can't force him to fight you. That's where people have a lot of trouble with undeads, because undeads are very content to stay inside their base, to a certain degree, stay inside their base, wait for tier 3, wait for a superior army, and then say, alright, now I'll fight you. Until then, they're like, you know what, dude, if you want to fight me, if you want to be a little bitch and like come knock on my house, then come to my base, bitch, and we'll fight. That's exactly how they say it. I can just imagine the Death Knight going like, what's up, motherfucker? Like, you want to rumble? Yeah. Yeah, can't you? Can't you? Come on. And the Lich is like, oh no, you didn't. And the Crypt Lord's like, because the Crypt Lord can't talk. Word. Gosh, I'm getting so off topic. This is ridiculous. What I'm saying, mortars, if your opponent wants to turtle in his base, fine. Mortars will kick your ass. They will go over trees. They will just attack your towers, your farms, your population buildings, your town hall even. You have to either do hit and runs or something. You can't just sit there and not do anything, which is awesome. Because so often you run into the problem where you're ready to fight and your opponent's not, and then you have the trouble. Because the fact is, if you prepare before your opponent, then that means your opponent has some kind of advantage on you. You have unit advantage, maybe they have resource advantage, maybe they have tech advantage, maybe they have hero advantage. And by not pressing your advantage, you let them catch up. And that's where you get into trouble. That's where a lot of the rushes are destroyed or have their faults. That's where I say the Firelord has his fault. If the Firelord cannot be utilized early in the game, his usefulness will run out. And that's when you've kind of wasted your second hero pick. Now let's go back to the Panda, because this game was kind of dedicated to the Panda, in that the Panda actually beat the Firelord, and the Firelord beat the Mountain King, and so on and so forth. The Panda is a great hero with Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire. It's great at harassing workers. It's great at harassing or destroying footmen, as well as gyrocopters. Now, you don't really run into gyrocopters very much in Human Mirror, but it is possible if you decide to go mass air. I've seen a lot of successful Human Mirror games where you go Panda second and then fast tech to Griffins and Dragonhawks. Your opponent will then already have a workshop because he's probably going to go mortars, and he will switch to gyrocopters, in which case you will dominate them with your Breath of Fire and Panda. It's a nice little combination and works very well. Counters to the Panda, or let's say Panda weaknesses. Typically he has crap mana, as is the Firelord. You'll run into a lot of that with Tavern Heroes because they need to be able to be utilized by all races. That's kind of the Tavern Hero paradigm. Each of them needs to have some kind of weakness so they're not imbalanced, but also needs to have certain ways where they can be synergized into certain armies. Panda, as well as the Firelord, has shit mana, but Brilliant Zora, that makes it okay. Also, Panda he's a strength hero, so he can't be nuked. He's a great tank, as opposed to the Archmage. And that's really nice because he kind of fits that whole Mountain King role where you kind of want a second hero that can take some hits. Good stuff. As far as other weaknesses go, he turns into a knight. He turns into a knight if you have like Siphon Mana, or if you have Spellbreakers who are invulnerable to magic. And so you kind of have to watch out for that. I know that the Mountain King is kind of in the same situation, but he has some, spot stun as with his Storm Molten, so he can go after heroes. Whereas the Panda really is a hero versus army as opposed to a hero versus hero type of dude. I guess that's about it. Panda really is a very, very strong hero and should be utilized more in human games. I know that No Conseil and a lot of other, really good players have started using Panda against Orc. He had a series of audio commentaries based on the Panda Paw, meaning that he goes Archmage Panda with his mass breath of fire and basically makes your opponent waste a lot of money on healing salves, just dishing out a lot of damage, which the Panda is phenomenal at. Good stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not going to carry this conversation on much longer. Like I said before, go to my staff profile, talk to me, and I think that's about it. I never have a good way to end these commentaries, but it ends now.